Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom Manning greeting you now from Cleveland's $1 Million Arena. Tonight there's a hectic hockey game on between the Buffalo Bisons and the Cleveland Barons. The Buffalo Bisons, you know, have defeated Cleveland 4 times out of 5. We are now in the third period with 10 minutes of playing time remaining. The score, Cleveland 6, Buffalo 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just concluded the second period a few moments ago, one of the most hectic 6-goal periods ever witnessed here at the Cleveland Arena. I'll give you the scoring and so forth just as soon as we get a chance to draw our breath. Right now on the ice for Cleveland, it is Bartholomew, Brasheau, Hergesheimer. At defense, it's Danny Sprout, Pete Bisons, Kiscan is in the goal. And for Buffalo, the goalie is Dion, the center is Mosdell, the wings are Cooper and Horick, and the defense is Field and Edel. There'll be a face-off now inside the Buffalo blue line. Remember, 10 minutes of playing time remaining, and the score, the Cleveland Barons 6, Buffalo Bisons 5. Facing off now is Mosdell and Bartholomew. Bartholomew gets the break and bats back to Brasheau. Brasheau shoots from the blue line. It's high over the net and down the back of the cage. The puck is tied up for a moment. Bartholomew pries it loose, passes it over to Brasheau. An interception made there by Edels. Edels passes out to center Mosdell. Mosdell comes down, but he's pinched beautifully by the defense of Cleveland, Bisons and Sprout. And now Cleveland is on the make. Phantom Phil Hergesheimer carrying down over the center rink to the blue line, but a poke check by Buffalo defenseman Field steals the puck. Now Pete Bisons and Mosdell crash into the boards, and coming down is Horick, and Horick takes a smack at Pete Bisons. Pete Bisons hits him with an uppercut, and then a left and a right to the stomach, and there's a big fight over there against the boards in the northeastern corner, and the referee and the umpire, the referee McVeigh, and Shields, the umpire, trying to pull them apart. Pete Bisons, board check, Mosdell, and Horick came and fairly flew into the neck of Pete Bisons. Bisons took off his gloves, threw down his club, and hit him with the right hand of the jaw, then the left and the right to the stomach. And now Pete Bisons is over, pushing Horick over against the board, and he's just about to say, "I'll smack you good, you little so-and-so." Pete Bisons weighs about 190 pounds. This Horick weighs about 160. But you know those Horick boys are pretty tough. And now Horick is being chased to the cooler, and he's being belted by programs and popcorn and peanuts and what have you. Horick and Brasheau also is going to the cooler. That's the 15th penalty of the evening. Now Brasheau elbows Horick as they go into the penalty box, but Horick doesn't do anything to him. Brasheau shoves him over the 3-foot wooden barrier. There's no blows landed, and now the cops are over there, and they're holding Brasheau and Horick. We have exactly 9 minutes and 30 seconds of playing time remaining. The score is 6-5 in favor of Cleveland. Ladies and gentlemen, the bright spot of the hockey game tonight is the fact that Les Cunningham has already scored 4 of Cleveland's 6 goals. He also has 2 assists. So Les Cunningham, a few moments ago, upwards of 12,000 persons stood and gave Les an ovation that could be heard for a block, because he is the first and only a hockey player ever to reach 500 points. Les came into the game tonight with a total of 496 points scored during his hockey career. Well, when he made his 500th point tonight, you could hear the crowd for a block. Play hasn't been resumed down there as yet. We might tell you that down there tonight, Buffalo was first out on the ice at 8:27. The Barons came on about 2 minutes later at 8:29. Art Sherrod is playing his first game in several weeks tonight, and Whitey Ed Prokop is also playing a right wing. Tommy Burlington is not in the game tonight, one of the few games that he has missed. The crowd began to arrive shortly after 5 o'clock this evening. There was a crowd about 2 blocks long waiting for the only tickets to go on sale. That's the standing room only. Now the teams are getting squared away down there. Buffalo receiving 2 penalties on that last play. It was Horick and Mosdell went to the cooler, and Pete Bisons went to the cooler for Cleveland. So Buffalo now will have 3 forwards against 4 for Cleveland. 3 forwards on the ice for Buffalo. Buffalo wearing their white jerseys with a red shoulder pad and a red bottom around the jersey with their big navy blue numerals. And on the ice down there for Cleveland now is Bartholomew, Adolph, Gordon Davidson, Trudell, and here comes Gasparini out, so one of the Cleveland boys will be chased off the ice, I believe. We'll see. They're still skating around, and Frank Beisler, the coach of the Buffalo Bison team, has called umpire Fields over for a bit of a conflam. Lou Trudell goes off the ice, so when play is resumed, Thurier comes on for Cleveland. Thurier, here comes Kelly on. Cleveland did not receive a penalty. Cleveland, and the fans are roaring now. They want to know what that penalty is all about. They got 5 men on the ice. Well, now Robert McVeigh is counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, the puck is dropped. And Thurier gets the break, bats it backward. To Thurier gets the break, bats it backward. To Thurier gets the break, bats it backward to Dick Adolph. Adolph at back of the Cleveland cage. Passes out the Cleveland blue line to Thurier. Thurier over to his left wing, Gasparini. Thurier over to his left wing, Gasparini. Thurier over to his left wing, Gasparini. Gasparini makes his break. He's over the Buffalo blue line. He boards the puck to the north. Kelly can't get it. It's picked up down there very beautifully by McKay. McKay down center ice over the Cleveland blue line. He passes backward very beautifully. A backward pass there to Mundvik. Mundvik takes his shot. That's a save in there by the Cleveland goalie, Kiskin. There'll be a face-off in the oval to the left of Kiskin. On that penalty that they were arguing about, a substitute was allowed. We'll go into that just as soon as the play starts. All right, that's Buffalo coming in carrying the puck now, but they're pinched by the Cleveland defense of Davidson and Adolph. Davidson steals for Cleveland, passes out the blue line. Roger Leger, defenseman of Buffalo, has the puck. He takes a shot. It's wide to the right. The rebound picked up by Gasparini. Gasparini back of the Cleveland cage. Gasparini back of the Cleveland cage. Goes out to the blue line. Loses the puck out there to Leger. On a nice poke check by Gordon Davidson, Cleveland's defenseman. He steals the puck away from Leger. And on the play, Buffalo is offside. There'll be a face-off. Buffalo is offside. There'll be a face-off in center ice. Facing off for Cleveland, Thurier. Facing off for Buffalo is McKay. The wings are Mundvik and Hemmerling for Buffalo. On the face-off, the puck goes down and back of the Cleveland net, picked up there by Kelly. Kelly, the net picked up there by Kelly. Kelly boards the puck, it goes out to the blue line. Leger has it. Leger takes his shot, it's saved by Kiskin. Kiskin bats out to the right. Buffalo takes another shot from way out. But again, Kiskin saves, goes out to the left. And saves, goes out to the left. And another shot in there by Hemmerling. And again, Kiskin makes the save. Well, that's all the shooting for Buffalo for a moment. Kelly has the puck and he carries it out into center right. Three very beautiful saves in there by young Kiskin, Cleveland's recruit goalie. Now Kelly has the puck. He skates down and back of the Cleveland cage. Loses the puck there for a moment, but passes over to Gasparini. Gasparini skates out, passes to Adolph. Adolph out the Cleveland blue line. Adolph out the Cleveland blue line. Feeds out the center right to Kelly, but Kelly loses out there to Roger Leger. Leger comes down over the blue line, and he's crashed into the boards by little Leo Gasparini. Finally, the puck goes over to Kelly. Kelly in back of the Cleveland cage. And Kelly falls down with the puck and loses it for a moment to Hemmerling. Hemmerling passes out to Leger. Leger takes his shot. Rebound is picked up by Davidson. Davidson's shot is a little bit wide. And now Hemmerling has it, but Hemmerling has crashed into the boards there by Gordon Davidson. Gasparini comes up with a puck. And now Thurier has it. He passes over to Kelly. Kelly out to the Cleveland blue line. The crowd jumps to its feet and roars. The puck is on the stick of Gordon Davidson. Davidson passes out to Gasparini. Gasparini skates in, but he can't get a shot. He was skated off nicely by Eddles, the right defenseman of Buffalo. Thurier has the puck, passes across ice to Gasparini. Interception is made by Roger Leger. Leger sets up a play in there for Mundvik. Mundvik skates in, takes his shot, but it's wide. And Whitey Prokop crashes Hemmerling into the boards. It's a loose puck. Thurier has it for Cleveland. Thurier stick handling down and back of the net. Finally, he passes out to Gordy Davidson, and Davidson makes his break down the left lane, and he passes out to center ice to Prokop. Prokop is in for a shot. There he goes. He shoots. It's in. It's in. Listen to that crowd. All right, recapping that play rapidly for you. It is now Cleveland Barons 7, Buffalo 5, and over 12,000 persons jump to their feet. The ice is fairly littered with programs, peanuts, popcorn, and what have you. Play won't be resumed now for a few seconds. The score becomes 7-5 in favor of Cleveland. Whitey Prokop took that beautiful pass, and they're just inside the red line at center ice, and he outskated Eddles, the right defenseman, and he went in and beat Dion, the little goalie, and the score is now Cleveland 7 and Buffalo 5. On the ice for Cleveland, the Cunningham line. Cunningham, Trudell, Prokop stays on. Danny Sprout, Pete Bisson. And for Buffalo, it is now Lassard, Eddles at defense. The center is Halderson, and it is Hunt and Lewis, the number 2 line. On the face-off, the puck is batted down in back of the Buffalo cage, picked up by Lessard, defenseman. Lessard stick handles for a moment. Now he's being pursued by Les Cunningham. Comes out the blue line. He passes over nicely to Lewis. Lewis passes over to Hollison. Hollison's in for a shot, and a magnificent save by Kiskan. And the rebound is picked up by Cunningham, and Cunningham bats out the center right. Lou Trudell picks that puck up. He skates down over the Buffalo blue line. He loses on a poke check to Edels. Edels down in back of his own cage. Finally passes over, but Cunningham takes it. Cunningham took a shot, and Dion drops to the ice and makes a nice save. And now it's Buffalo on a power drive, carrying down as Edels. Edels passes over nicely to Lessard. Lessard down the left lane. He passes over to Freddie Hunt. Freddie Hunt passes across ice, but Pete Bisson poke checks for Cleveland, gives it to Danny Sprout. Sprout passes over to Bisson, and Bisson bores the puck to the north. Rebound is picked up by Lewis. Lewis passes over to Hunt. Hunt back over to Hollison, and here comes a crash against the boards. Danny Sprout and Hollison crash into the boards. It's a loose puck, and Whitey Prokop has it, and Prokop ices the puck. There'll be a face-off down to the right of Kiskan, the Cleveland goalie. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the most hectic hockey game ever put on here at the Cleveland Arena. You know, there's no love between the Buffalo Bisons and the Cleveland Barons. The boys body check, elbow, board check, and tonight we have had 3 very, very good fist fights that Larry Atkins, who is promoting his fight a week from next Monday night, might well use on that particular card. Well, there's time out down on the ice, and friends, we'd like to remind you that tomorrow night here, Al Suffin, who built this beautiful $1.25 million arena, will have a matinee opening the annual arena circuit tomorrow night under the Veterans of Foreign Wars. All right, that was a false face-off, in spite of the fact it's not April the 1st. Cunningham facing off along with Mosdell. Mosdell, Cooper, and Horick, the line now for Buffalo, the defense. Leger and Lessard. There's the face-off. It goes to the Cleveland blue line, and Prokop has it for Cleveland. He's on the make, down the left lane, over the blue line. He's in, he shoots. It's a little bit wide. It hit the post and bounced over to the right. It's picked up over there by Lessard. Lessard ices the puck clear down at this end of the rink. There'll be a face-off now opposite the Buffalo goal to the north. The score, Cleveland Barons 7, Buffalo Bisons 5. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tom Manning speaking. This is the first opportunity that we've had this year of broadcasting hockey. Owing to previous commitments, and because there was no time change between Cleveland and New York, it was impossible for us to broadcast hockey. But friends, if you'd like to have us continue with this play-by-play description, which will come to you each Saturday night shortly after 11 o'clock by electrical transcription, why don't you drop us a letter and tell us that you'd like to have the hockey broadcast? Won't you do that? If you want the hockey broadcast, just write us a letter. All right, play is on now, and carrying down nicely is Cooper. Cooper is in. He takes his shot, a nice save by Kiskan. There's the referee's whistle. Referee Rabbit McVeigh is blowing the whistle. Another nice save by Kiskan down there. You know, for the first 10.5 minutes of play in the first period, Kiskan did not have a save. And, of course, that is a left-handed pat on the back of the Cleveland defense. However, here in the second and third period, young Kiskan has been playing a very brilliant game in the Cleveland cage. On the ice now, it's the Bartholomew line. Bartholomew, Gasparini, Hergesheimer. The defense for Cleveland is Sprout and Bisson. There's the face-off. And Buffalo gets the break. Leger has the puck, passes over to Lessard. Lessard takes a shot. Danny Sprout knocks it down on his pads. Throws it over to Gasparini. Gasparini loses the puck over there to Mosdell. Mosdell passes over to Hemmerling. Hemmerling takes his shot, kicked out by Kiskan. Rebound picked up by Danny Sprout. Sprout forwards the puck. We have 4 minutes and 45 seconds of playing time remaining. The puck is out in center ice. And Lessard and Hergesheimer crash into each other. They both go to the ice. And now it's Gasparini on the make. He's in there. Look out. It's a shot for Gasparini. He was pinched in there beautifully by defenseman Lessard. And now it is Buffalo on the make. Leger carries to his own blue line. Passes over to center. And Mosdell is knocked down by Danny Sprout. Gives the puck to Pete Bisson. Bisson gives it to Bartholomew. Bartholomew passes over to Hergesheimer. Hergesheimer can't get a shot. The rebound is picked up by Pete Bisson. He gives it to Bartholomew. Bartholomew couldn't get a shot. Leger has it. Leger passes out nicely to Cooper. Cooper passes in there to Lessard. Lessard skates in, but Bartholomew outskates him and steals for Cleveland. He passes over to the north to Pete Bisson, and there goes Pete down, and Pete crashes into Lessard, steals the puck, and Lessard and Bisson both tie up. Gasparini's in for a shot. He takes a shot, but Dion dropped just in time to make the save. And the rebound, Bartholomew took a shot, but that too was knocked out by Dion. Now Cooper has the puck, passes over to Hemmerling, and Bartholomew steals for Cleveland. It's down and back of the Buffalo cage. The score, Cleveland 7, Buffalo 5. Now maneuvering down and back of his own cage. There's a shot by Bartholomew. Bartholomew was wide to the left. The rebound is picked up by Hergesheimer, but he loses it in there to defenseman Lessard of Buffalo. Lessard passes out to Mosdell. Mosdell down in center ice, passes over to Cooper. Cooper's in, he takes a shot. It's kicked out by Kiskan, and Hergesheimer picks up for Cleveland. Out to center right. She gives it to Bartholomew. Bartholomew in a very cute backward pass gives it to Hergesheimer. Hergesheimer loses it to Mosdell. Mosdell passes over to Cooper. Cooper's in for a shot. There it is. It's kicked out by Kiskin. Kicked out to the right. But on the play, skating on the ice now is Mundvik. New line coming on for Buffalo. It is McKay at center. Lewis is coming into the wing. Leger and Lessard stay on at defense. Mundvik is in on the wing. The Thurier line coming on. The Thurier line coming on. The Thurier line coming on.